What do Cannes Lions, Prime Day, Tesla's new test rollout, and sneaker culture all have in common? They show us signals. So this week's question is simple. What are the signals that show up before demand becomes obvious? From our team to yours, this is Making Sense. Welcome to Making Sense, the weekly show powered by Merciv. We help brands separate signal from noise and understand what's actually driving consumer behavior. I'm Rachel, Chief of Staff here at Merciv. Later in the show, we'll bring in two people who spent a lot of time looking at exactly these kinds of signals. Miranda Scanlon is breaking down why beauty brands are learning that timing may matter more than discounting. And Miles Moody is joining us to talk about how search, creators, and culture are changing the way products gain momentum. But first, let's start with a few signals that jumped off of the page this week. Let's start with Cannes. Cannes Lions 2026 is less of a celebration of advertising and more of a reflection of an industry undergoing structural change. Following new integrity standards introduced after controversy around award submissions, entries fell 25.5% this year, dropping from 26,900 in 2025 to 20,050 in 2026. Interpublic Group, IPG, the third most awarded holding company, disappeared following its acquisition by Omnicom, prompting Cannes to eliminate its long-standing Creative Company of the Year award. Cannes highlights a consumer landscape increasingly skeptical of traditional advertising. 56% of consumers say digital ads feel creepy, while many actively avoid ads altogether. The dominant themes emerging from the festival have shifted from AI hype towards authenticity, fandom, humor, and human creativity, suggesting that brands are being pushed to earn attention through relevance and connection rather than targeting alone. Let's talk automotive. Tesla is telling two very different stories. A heavily camouflaged prototype spotted in San Jose on June 17th marked the fifth North American sighting since April, with each appearance generating significant discussion across Reddit, TikTok, and YouTube. Awareness is being fueled almost entirely through social media sightings, rather than official Tesla communications. At the same time, Tesla's full self-driving narrative is facing growing scrutiny. Following the rollout of their new update on June 13th, regulators and safety experts challenged Tesla's claims that FSD is 7 times safer than human drivers and could save 32,000 lives, arguing the statistics are not independently validated. Tesla ranked last in trust and favorability in the January 2026 EV/IR survey, posting a score of -14 compared with Toyota's +26 and Honda's +21. Consumer concerns around FSD remain significant, with 35% of Americans saying the technology makes them less likely to purchase a Tesla, while only 14% say it makes them more likely. Despite these headwinds, analysts remain optimistic about vehicle demand. Tesla's next chapter will likely depend not on whether consumers want the product, but on which audience segments could continue to separate the vehicle from the broader controversies surrounding the brand. Prime Day 2026 reshaped the home and appliance category by accelerating the shift from loyalty-driven shopping to discovery-driven purchasing. The event ran from June 23rd to 26th, the earliest Prime Day since 2021, pulling summer demand forward and intensifying competition between Amazon, direct-to-consumer brands, and major retailers like Target. Perfect segue to bringing in Miranda to chat all things beauty and Prime Day. So based on what you've seen, what brands are winning?
I think K-beauty brands are very socially dominant right now, and they've kind of been top of mind. I think a good example is Medicube and the play that they're having. Laneige and Medicube as the top two risers. Tier is also another brand that's focused a little bit more on the cosmetic side when it comes to K-beauty, which is a new trend. I think everybody is very aware of K-beauty when it comes to skincare, but cosmetics, it's going to be very interesting to see how those brands play. And Beauty of Joseon is also number 4. So again, K-beauty is a really big focus socially, and we're seeing that also rise in the data when it comes to Prime Day campaigns. I think Medicube is a really great brand, looking back at 2025, to understand the playbook that a lot of brands are using this year in 2026. They actually did a campaign back in April of 2025 with Kylie Jenner, had her promoting the product on TikTok. They were able to get 1.16 million likes on a single TikTok post. Coming off of the Kylie Jenner Medicube TikTok, they were able to reach $22 million in Prime Day sales. I think that partnership is a really great example of just how influential even one video can be. I think the trickiest part about trying to engage with socials is you never know how viral a video is going to be, and brands are really struggling to get those signals in real time. It's personally why I like Merciv, because we're able to actually track all of those trends. I have a dashboard built out for fragrance right now, trying to stay ahead of that curve. But I think that really is one of the large factors that is impacting a brand's ability to be successful with these marketing campaigns.
Any final shout outs you want to give, brands you want to mention?
Hair care is really a key category right now. So I'm focusing on Color Wow. They just got acquired by L'Oreal over the past few months. So excited to see how they're able to perform during Prime Day this year.
All right, now let's switch to fashion. Miles, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Rachel.
Can you kick us off by telling us what's on your radar this week in fashion?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was doing a little bit of research, of course, with my good friend Merciv, and came across some really interesting stats and figures, especially around the quote-unquote death of the dad shoe. The clunky silhouette of the dad shoe that we saw rise in popularity over the last few years. Of course, the 530 by New Balance, this emerging trend in search volume as well as demand in product. The change of the guard being represented in several different brands and a depth of different profiles across the shoe market. But most notably, what we're seeing in the data on Merciv is those brands being Saucony, Brooks, as well as Mizuno. Just starting around Brooks Running, I mean, a few months back, their search volume was at 135,000 average searches per month. And now we're seeing actually 246,000 monthly searches on average. Increase in search volume for Mizuno shoes. Really, where the data becomes a bit more interesting is those anecdotal conversations that are happening across these trendy Reddit threads. One notable one that speaks out to me is someone in Male Fashion Advice. They said, keep Mizuno as secret as possible. It'll be interesting to see that dynamic play out as well across the landscape as these brands rise to popularity.
I will say I have a pair of Mizuno sneakers. They are my comfiest sneakers, so yeah. I hear that. And you mentioned Reddit a bit, which is very interesting that, you know, this is an emerging platform that brands are looking at differently than it once was. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think Reddit became kind of a safe haven for different customers to be able to talk authentically about the brands they love or don't necessarily love. And so you're seeing this perfect kind of culmination of these two things come together where brands are now recognizing Reddit as a potentially more authentic way to reach customers. It's threefold. It's a data collection point for brands. It's of course, a conversation platform, authentic place for customers to talk. And I'd say potentially a great advertising channel for brands to reach their customer as well. And just one interesting side fact about Reddit's popularity growth over this kind of same time period. Back in 2020, the daily active users for Reddit was around 52 million per day. Now we're seeing that spike up to 116 million, quoted most recently back in Q3 of 2025. So even just that sheer volume alone speaks to the breadth and the depth that Reddit has seen emerge in its popularity and a trusted platform for users to come, engage, get opinions, share opinions. I think it could be interesting to see whether brands actually end up kind of poisoning the well of Reddit's authenticity. We've seen time and time again customers kind of running away from ads. And as brands realize that Reddit is a place for them now joining this platform and becoming a part of the conversation, leads customers away in a similar fashion that we've seen with other social media brands.
Thank you everyone for joining us for Making Sense today. Tune in next week for a whole new episode with more insights powered by Merciv.